So welcome back to the channel, and in the previous video I drove 40 miles and spent $200 on a used parts deal that I found on the Facebook marketplace. The guy had it listed for $400, I offered $200, he agreed to let it go. And when we got there, we wound up finding out that the stuff works and the guy actually tested it even though the listing had said that it was untested. Brought it back and we scored huge. We wound up with 4 computers, gaming capable, were easy to sell and flip very easily. And there was a bunch of other stuff that I didn't know what it was, the guy didn't know what it was, but as I dove on eBay, I found out, holy crap, these things sell for some decent money, and I was able to really make some good profits on that. So I'll post a link if you're interested in that video so you can find out everything and see my journey to get it. So in today's video, we're gonna dive into this computer of the 4, we're gonna clean it up, fresh copy of Windows, make sure it's good, ready to go, and see if it's worth selling, and is this computer stable and reliable. We did turn it on in the last video, but one thing you always got to keep in mind, just because the computer turns on and boot doesn't mean it's stable. Sometimes computers under load tend to crash, and that's what we need to do with this one. So let's go ahead, let's open it up, dive into it, clean it up, get it ready, and see if this thing is stable and we're able to sell it. So this is the Dell G5 5090, and it has an Intel i7 9th gen, which is really good because we could run Windows 11 without having to do bypass or anything like that. You might be saying, DLM, Linux. I agree, Linux would be better for it, but here's the thing, not everybody is comfortable with Linux, and Linux is not for everybody. If it was me and I was using it, or a good friend, I would recommend it, but if I'm gonna sell it on the Facebook marketplace and get this out to people, I need to make sure that it's an operating system that they're comfortable, they know how to use it, and they can run any program without having to jump through hoops sometimes as you do with Linux. Not saying Linux is bad, but it's not simple. Now, taking a look at it, we do have a slight little ding right over here, but it's not terrible. So let's open this up. Thumb capture, gotta love it. And this is what we got. Small, simple, and sleek. So the dirt and dust factor is actually not bad on it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I learned in the last video that this thing only has 8 gigs of DDR4. No, this one has 16, maybe. It says 8 gig, let's see. 8 gig PC, 1RX, yeah, this one's 16. I think it was the CyberPower one that only had 8 gigs, so we're off to a good start over here. Now, one thing that is cool about this computer is it does have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and a lot of people are looking for that, so that will make it sell a lot easier. Now, for the storage, it only has 128 gig M.2, and that's not enough. We need at least 500 gigs, and even now with most games, that's definitely not enough. But to start, that's what we're gonna have to do. Toshiba 128. I might see what I have. I might have to go to SSD. Now, we are going to get rid of this mechanical drive. Number one, they're noisy. I can use this. I think this is a 1 terabyte. I think it's a 1 terabyte. And I can use this for other stuff that I need. So out this needs to go. And are there screws on both sides? How does this come out? How are you deleted? I think what I'm gonna have to do is just pull this panel off. Arrow this way, up, click, click. Hopefully no snaps. And it's probably good to take this off anyway, because, well, that part. And I think it is pretty cool that Dell made it. It comes right off, nice. Oh, there's a screw right there for it. So let's go ahead and take this out. We are going to leave the drive cage in there in case the owner decides in the future that they want to add some type of mechanical hard disk drive storage, or future owner. But I'd rather sell it with an SSD or an M.2, 500 gigs. Maybe I might have a 1 terabyte. I'll just have to check. And this would be a lot better. Plus, I need this for something else. Seagate Barracuda. Let's pop this back in just like so. Maybe. There we go. Now, for the graphics card, this is a 1660. I don't think it's a super. I just think it's a regular 1660, which is perfectly fine. They're actually pretty good graphics cards. I have a couple of them. And another one we'll be putting in that CyberPower build. But she's a little gross. And she could probably benefit some fresh thermal paste. So we will be doing that. Let's take this apart. This thermal paste is gone. I mean, really hard. And I did notice that as this thing was loading up and stuff like that, this thing just kept on ramping up. So fresh thermal paste will definitely keep this thing quiet. Temperatures means less FPSs, and we don't want that. Now, for those of you people who are asking, can you case swap this? Here's the thing, you can case swap anything. Is this worth case swapping? I would say no. Number one, I can tell you right now, these screw holes do not match up. And then the motherboard, this front IO, I think, well, maybe not this one. Let me take a look. I think the front IO is part of the motherboard, like some of the other ones, but either way, it's probably durable. But between the special connectors that you'll need, like over here, and splicing and all that type of stuff, you're just better off not. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is switch to the montage of me cleaning this thing, installing a Windows 11, and when we come back, we'll be stress testing it, gaming it, see how well it performs, if it's stable, and we'll see if we're able to sell it. So the cleanup turned out great. Fresh thermal paste, and this thing cleaned up fantastic. Actually wasn't that bad. There was a big dust bunny down over here, but we got rid of it. Fresh thermal paste on the CPU and the GPU, and it's running a lot quieter. So we have a 1660 i7 9700, 16 gigs of DDR4, and the good part about this, I got to use an M.2 NVMe, the smaller flavor one, because I have a couple of them and I actually rarely get a computer, or it's actually been a long time since I actually had a computer where I can actually use the small ones. Typically I have to use the normal size ones. So it's nice that I'm actually able to use it and finally put it to good use. So that worked out pretty good. And as far as upgrade on this, definitely plenty of provisions for more storage. You could put a SATA, mechanical drive, upgrade to probably what, 32, maybe 64 gigs of DDR4. And as far as the graphics card, there is some room for a better one. I'd have to double check, don't quote me 100%. I do know the power supply is at 360 watts, so we might be able to put something like a 2060, maybe a 3050. I'm not too sure about the 3060, but there is room that we could put a better graphics card. I think that this GPU and CPU combo should pair out pretty decent and at least get you started. Now the front is actually not that bad. You know, we got that blue LED. Not sure if you can change it. I'll have to go and look into that, but the blue is kind of cool. People like the colors in the front. I mean, we don't have no tempered glass on the side, but I mean, it still looks pretty decent. It's actually not a bad look. This Dell G5, I'll give them credit. USB-C in the front, 2 USBs, audio, microphone, so not bad. So for our first game, Cyberpunk 1080p medium settings, we are running the benchmark. We're looking at maybe about 80 frames per second average. It's probably gonna be a little higher, but so far the game is looking good, running real smooth. Now, I do have a concern that I'm noticing is that my CPU temperatures keep spiking to about 85, 86. As you can see, it's kind of ramping up there, and I don't have the cover on. Maybe we're not getting the good airflow because I don't have the cover, or maybe I did a bad spread of the thermal paste, so I'll definitely have to look at that and revisit that. But so far, the game is looking good. So our average is 77 frames per second. So that's actually pretty decent. Over 60 frames per second, running at 1660. Let's go ahead, let's dive into another game and let's see what we got. So The Last of Us, 1080p, low settings, and probably about 60 frames per second. I mean, as we start doing more intense stuff, our frames will actually go down. And so far, okay, 57, 56. So we got some dips, but this game requires a bunch of VRAM. It's a little bit intense. So, I mean, we're doing the best you can. That 1660 Super, she's trying. GPU 100%, temperatures. The GPU temperature is fine, but the CPU one just keeps spiking up. So I did put in the side panel, and before it was spiking to 89, now 85. So we did gain, I guess, a little bit more airflow. I'll definitely have to revisit my thermal paste application. I'm pretty sure I did it right, but we'll take a look at that again. But overall, computer's running great, solid, stable. I'm happy with it. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. So this Dell G5, actually not a bad computer. I mean, yes, it's kind of a made over Dell Optiplex 70, 40, 50, or 50 series, whatever you call them. I mean, they just kind of changed the front plate on it. But considering that, I mean, it's easy to change the storage, put a better graphics card in there if you wanted to, add more memory. It's very easy to work on. It's very easy to do maintenance on it and clean it. So I think that makes it a cool computer. Plus, you got the color in the front, which that's nice. People like that. I get it. It is a setting in the BIOS that I had to enable, so I guess the previous owner didn't like this blue blaring in their face. I'll leave it on because people like stuff like that, and if they don't like it, I'll show them how to take it off. But as far as the performance, it's actually not bad. 1660 holds up pretty decent. It'll definitely do well in games like Fortnite, Valorant, Apex, a whole bunch of other games like that that people like to play. So it's actually a decent system. Now, as far as what I would sell it for, I'd have to gauge the market to kind of see what other systems comparable in my area are selling to. But I'm assuming on the low end, probably about $300, maybe more, maybe $300. But even if we was to go ahead and sell this for $300, that's a win because I paid $200 for a whole bunch of other stuff. I automatically get my money back plus the $100, and I still have 3 other systems that I need to dive into, clean up, get working, experiment with, do some cool videos. So definitely stay tuned. Make sure you hit your notification bells and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss those other videos. And it's so much more fun just bringing back this older hardware to life and just, you know, gaming it forward, pushing it forward. Let me know. But with all that being said, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, concerns, criticisms. What are your thoughts on the Dell G5? What upgrades would you do to it? Do you think this is a worthwhile system? If you watched the previous video, do you think I did good on this deal? If you like this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and as always, we'll see what we come up with next.